Live from the City of Angels, you are watching Midday Movie Talk, MMT Early Edition, whenever we have these massive stories that are really important to get on the air ASAP. We will do so here at MMT. And yes, it's because we have more troubles for MI7. This film is only at $23.8 million through its first 2 days domestically here stateside. There's no way to spin it other than to say extremely disappointing. Now, before I want to get your takes on what is happening here, it is very important that we mention this is a 5-day opening for MI7. So that does affect the numbers. That makes the entire thing just a different lens to look through as we try to get under the numbers and figure out what is happening with the film. But listen, 28.3, 23.8, 28 would actually still be bad, but 23.8 million after 2 days is a big disappointment. And now we're looking at a 5-day of $80 million. Now, as you guys know, when we were discussing this film back on Tuesday night, opening night here, I had it at 120 for the 5-day. So if it's at 80, that is minus 40 domestically. That is a huge chunk. That is minus 33% on what I expected this film to do. Not minus 5, 10, 50, minus 33. Okay, granted, I was bullish. I was one of the few box office guys out there saying this film has a chance to really push ahead because of a number of factors. But the number one for me was the fact that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster tanked. And whenever a big film right in front of another massive film falls apart, that benefits the next film in the marketplace. And it hasn't happened so far. But again, this is a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we're looking at. It's not a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That makes a big difference. I want to bring this in as well before I get to some comments here. Look at the international numbers. Just got the email from Paramount right now, literally as I was going on. So I was waiting to look at this for a second. Before I hit the go live button here. By the way, thanks for those of you here on MMT. If you have not liked or subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. And the patronage is just amazing. You guys make the show and you make it fun to do. So 70 markets in release this weekend, including the UK, China, Spain, Taiwan, and Scandinavia. That's starting today. Okay. These other markets opened yesterday. Korea, number one, 1.3 million. With previews, 4.4 million. France, 3.1 million with previews. Australia, 5.1. Mexico, 1. Germany, 1.2. UAE, 7.7, and on and on. Now, so the total on that is going to be 39.8, which we're going to really need to see this number Sunday because we need China for sure. Okay. Early tracking in UK is not as strong for this as we saw with Fallout. Remember, Fallout opened back in 2018, end of July. It was all by itself, just like this is, but it opened on a weekend, which makes a big difference. And one of the things that we haven't talked about with Fallout that I want to mention is that we had Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill was a big name and still is. But I mean, back then, right? He's Superman. He's in MI. They had to go back in and readjust all of Justice League because they wouldn't allow. Paramount said, no, you cannot allow him to shave his mustache off. So that was a big deal to that film's success. Henry Cavill. You don't have that here. And I think the one glaring, negative for this film is that Isai is not a menacing villain. I mean, legit, guys. If I came across Isai like in the street and he was giving me the look, I'd be like, first of all, dude, you look like you're 4'8". And second of all, I'm bigger than you. I'm in better shape than you. I'm going to go right through you. You need to have Henry Cavill, a different story, right? Henry Cavill's like built like a brick shithouse. He's probably 6'5". He's at least 6'3". Big dude. No, Isai, like, step out of the way, little dude. So I think that does play into this. I do. I want to mention this too, and then we'll get into the comments. Is the WGA and the SAG after strike that just started last night, are those playing into this, especially the WGA? And I believe we have a super chat right here, right off the bat. And this is really appreciate this super chat here. Joseph Michael, wow, $50, really appreciate it. I really believe the WGA strike may have contributed to these tent poles underperforming. Without the writers, all the late night shows went dark. No late night, no added awareness for new movie from Tom Cruise on Jimmy Fallon and whatever else is going on out there. Yes, my 2 cents. Joseph, that's a good comment, and it's a smart comment. Just what I expect from MMT viewers, because you guys are the brightest film people out there. You get this, the business of this. And promotion of a film is essential. You know what's interesting, talking about the WGA and the SAG strike now, is how the studios were getting all the stars out as fast as possible to promote these movies. Like, look at Oppenheimer last night. They went to premiere, and then the strike hit, and they all walked out. This is going to have massive ramifications for films going forward, but it'll get settled. Here's what's going to happen with this. I'm telling you right now, WGA and SAG will get settled. It'll get settled sometime in August, early September. It will not get settled today, because if you guys know anything about production, especially of television cranks back up, episodic especially, in August, late August, and they want to get those sets going. So I wouldn't expect any movement on this for a few weeks. It's almost like we're just going to let it go because it's dark at a lot of places already. So why bother? Now, as I say that, I do want to bring in this article, which is already showing us the ramifications of the SAG after strike. You've got Deadpool 3, which is shooting right now, Mission Impossible 8, and Venom 3. All of them were halted because of the strike. And again, we saw what happened last night, that Oppenheimer event. Everyone started walking out, okay? So here's a quote from Kevin Feige about Deadpool 3. We recognize now how much you've done on your specific projects, and it's disappointing when carefully laid plans have to shift, but constant change is the nature of the production business, and our teams are no stranger to unexpected challenges and rising to meet them. So, yes, this is another challenge. They just went through it with COVID. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people discuss about MI7 and that $300 million budget is how COVID cost tacked on to the production budget, which is clear. If I haven't told you the story before, guys, I'll tell it to you as quickly as possible. I was on an episode of NCIS during the height of COVID. I'm talking back in 2020. I shot an episode of NCIS, small role, like you can see me. I'm on the screen. And when we shot it, it was mask and visor. Like, the shield, mask, and then as soon as they said on a bell, everything came off. We did the scene, and then it was like, okay, mask, visor on, and wait until we get set again. It was crazy because you had COVID coordinators all over the place. You had all of this just extra cash being spent to make the sets safe, okay? So that does add to the budget. But, Feige's used to this. He's seen this happen with COVID, now with the SAG strike. They want to get it done because here's the thing, too. The longer this goes on, and I think that I bet that we're going to go until August. That's my guess right here. I know we're in the middle of July, but again, the episodic TV is going to crank back up in August. I don't expect this to get resolved in the next few days. I'll be surprised if that happens. But what you have is a bunch of production members shooting Deadpool 3 that are now in their hotel rooms today going, what do we do? We can't do anything today. The director can get in with the group and say, here's what we had to plan. If this thing ends, we need to be ready for this scene. We need to be ready to go as soon as they say we're up and it's done and it's been resolved and the strike is over, then we need to get back at it. But that's going to take some time. So now they're burning money. This is where the money on the productions goes up because they're sitting around and they're spending more cash than they expected to. Aaliyah, that's going to get worse now with the SAG strike. No promotion now, period, minus what the studios can manage without them. Here's why it's not as important, Aaliyah, even though it is, right? The SAG strike is important, but one of the reasons that it's not as vital, certainly for the films right now, is we're at the end of the big films, guys, right? We've talked about this for weeks. It's Mission Impossible. It's Barbie next week. It's Oppenheimer. They've already done all the press junkets for those. It's done. Those shows are over. Those movies have been promoted. So once that's over, you're talking about Ninja Turtles, Strays, The Meg 2. Those aren't movies that frankly rely on any promotion. I mean, of course promotion helps, but they're not these big films. Like, look at what Warner Brothers has done with Barbie, okay? You look around LA. When I drive through Hollywood now, they have bus benches that have been painted pink. Not just the back of it saying Barbie, the entire bench has been painted pink. Billboards everywhere. You guys are being inundated with ads here on YouTube for that and Oppenheimer. Everywhere you look, these films are seriously promoted. I mean, to a level that the awareness is through the roof. So anyone who comes in here saying that Mission Impossible or Barbie or Oppenheimer, nobody knew they were coming out, those people always exist, right? And they make me absolutely insane because every single time, there's a couple of exceptions, like very few, every film was promoted. Like those people like Elemental wasn't promoted. As I stare at the side of a skyscraper with an Elemental billboard. Now, granted, you might not live in LA, but trust me, Disney promoted Elemental. Warner Brothers, Barbie, Universal, Oppenheimer, and certainly Paramount, Mission Impossible. You can't miss these films. Joseph Michael, again, I've heard worst case scenarios where the dual strikes might drag out until late October or even Christmas. I don't think they'll let it get that far. I understand for the writers, one of the essential must-haves for them is to get this AI off the board. And that's a valid scare. That's something that nobody wants to deal with in a creative standpoint. If AI can start writing scripts at any level that can match a decent screenwriter, not a screenwriter of Magic Mike's Last Dance or Scream 6. I would venture to say that AI could do better on those. And certainly Beau is Afraid as well. And Insidious, The Red Door. But for the other films, you hope that a talented screenwriter could top what AI could come up with, but we don't know what this stuff's capable of. It's insane. Real opinion. Studios will win in the end. They can afford to wait it out more than most actors and certainly the writers. Yes, and to a point, because you've got, again, Mission Impossible 8 on hold, Deadpool on hold, Venom 3 on hold. All of those are big films that they want to get finished. And if you are on hold, you've got the cast and the crew. Cast might be going home right now because they could be like SAGs, like, listen, this isn't getting resolved tomorrow. Just go back to wherever you're from and hang out because we'll fly you back over here when it's over. The crew, they don't want to have them disband because they have to go back to wherever they're based. And then you have a situation, you got to get everyone back together. And where does all the extra cash come from? That's the COVID stuff too, is when you have to reconvene and bring everyone back and put them back in hotels, get everything established again. They were ready to rock today, right? They had the whole thing planned out. They had the shot sheet ready. And then they're like, oh, it's on strike. We're done. Everyone go home. Sidney Korshak would have fixed these strikes within a week, but he's dead for the most part. The mob outfits. Jake Hopgood. Oh my God. True. In the old days of Hollywood, we'll get this done like tonight. Yeah, this is not the way it works out here anymore. And I understand, listen, we get how it works for both the actors and the writers. We know what they want. You just want to be paid in a commensurate, thank you, the level, right, to what you're bringing to the table. There's that article about Zaslav over at Warner Brothers making, what is it, like $700,000 a day? Something like right around $700,000 a day. And an actor that's like on scale is getting like 1,000 or whatever. It's not a lot. Okay. So that's the thing. The disparity between the CEOs of these companies and what the average person who walks onto the Warner Brothers lot and makes whatever they do, the grip, a camera operator, whatever it is, they're not pulling anywhere near. And yet that's the thing. You can't tell me. I've railed about this for years. I don't know if I ever have on MMT, but I'm going to do it right now. And the stream's not going to go much longer. We'll go about 20 minutes. I want to keep it tight today. So I'm going to talk MI7 to wrap this. I think we did a pretty good job with the strike, but I want to say that no CEO should be paid that much money. David Zaslav is not God. clearly he has shown through many of his decisions already that he has made some errors, okay? And you're telling me that that one person is worth $700,000 a day? You got to be, there's no, unless you, here's the only way that I'll amend that. If you're the CEO of a company you created, in other words, Zaslav made Warner Brothers. He started it from ground zero in his garage when they were shooting movies in the corner of the garage to now here in Burbank on the lot making these $300 million films. That's not the case with Zaslav. He came in as a CEO to push some buttons and hire and fire people. And frankly, who's to say he's even good creatively? A lot of these people in Hollywood suck creatively. I've said all the time, bring me in. I will absolutely, first of all, I told you guys, Disney, don't even make Dial of Disaster. Nobody wants to see another Indiana Jones movie. Phoebe Waller-Bridge going off on why it bombed. Phoebe, it bombed for two reasons. One, nobody wanted another Indiana Jones movie. And two, no one wanted to see you take over Indiana Jones. And those you're like, well, it didn't say she was going to take over. That's what's implied. Give me a break. Don't go down that road. Don't do that to me. So that's why it bombed. I don't even need to hear you rant, rave, and complain about this, that, or the other. Nobody gave a shit about Indiana Jones in 2023, and Disney should have known that, and they threw $300 in the trash. And yet I'm here on a YouTube channel telling them that I could have saved them hundreds of millions of dollars. What the hell is wrong? And yet, Zaslav's making $700,000 a day. Jake, sorry, just read The Outfit by Russo. His Korshak book goes for 80 U's. Curious. Interesting. You know, is The Outfit's based on that movie, right? Oh, that movie's not that great. Not a fan of that movie. Focus Features last year, right? Was that the one? I'm trying to recall that movie even existed. Snow White actors went home. Oh no. Did you see the pictures from Snow White? We'll talk about that on Sunday. I want to make this stream tight. Let's get back to MI, because I want to wrap on that here today. Normally, we go an hour. I just want to keep it tight, and we'll probably do another one tomorrow, but we really need to keep it tight and then get ready for Sunday for a really long show. Tom, Erick's one of the only analysts being realistic and adjusting the numbers as they come down. Other YouTubers are still in denial, selling viewers the same anti-woke. Tom Cruise will show you when the finals are in, LOL. I'm not saying that it's not going to pick up and not get to, let's say, 800 million plus. I mean, I had it at $1 billion. I was high on it early. We could be wrong. Obviously, it's not looking good early. But anyone who is doing a stream right now, including competition right now, and is talking about how Tom Cruise is saving the universe and not paying attention to these numbers, why are you watching those people? They're not even in the realm of what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is that MI7 is at $24 million in 2 days. Transformers had more than that in one. The last Transformers we all thought would bomb. I know it's the middle of the week. I'm telling you guys, there's no way to spin this other than to say these numbers better pick up. If they do not pick up on Sunday night when we are live here for the hour, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're going to be talking about a situation where MI7 did not save the universe like Maverick did. This is not the same film as Maverick. You can see it if you look at the numbers for Maverick and you put them up against this. Maverick was killing these numbers in the first week after it had been out for a week. That tells me that film is on a different plane. This film is not going to get there as I see it right now. But yeah, leave it to the other people going, Tom Cruise is the savior of the universe. We don't do that. We always adjust the message based on the facts that are coming in. That's the number one mission of MMT. Be objective, be fearless, and call things as they are. And that's what we do. That's going to do it for the stream, guys. I'm wrapping out of here. Maybe Kuzma on Sunday. We'll do... that could be just cruel. I don't know if I want to be cruel. I was about ready to say we've never been cruel. That's probably not true. But guys, I want to thank you for being here for this tight little midday movie talk. And I also want to mention before I go here, I didn't talk about this. Today's kit, Hartlepool United, 2022, 2023 away. We specialize in obscure English clubs in League One. They'll be playing Wrexham this year. But thanks for being here, guys. Back possibly tomorrow for another tight MI stream when we get the numbers from today. It's got to pick up today. It's got to pick up tomorrow and Sunday. If this film doesn't, we're looking at another disappointment. Not Dial of disastrous, but it's not going to be the savior I really thought that this film could be and get to $1 billion. We'll know more as the weekend progresses, but thank you for being here. Midday Movie Talk, as we get you the updated numbers. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. For now, peace out. MMT is out of here.